So we're continuing with our class. Inshallah, I think next week should be I want to shift this to back to Sunday 7:30 a.m. because that's 7:30 a.m. So it's back to Sunday 7:30 a.m. in the morning. Like because Maghrib is getting very early. Yeah, Maghrib is like now it's at 5:50 Maghrib. So and then like sometimes Habib ended Rawha at 4:20. It was quite early today's Rawha, but usually he ends at 5. But today because he had a meeting, I was in the meeting just now. And he had the meeting, right? So he ended at 4:20 today. Right. But usually he ends at 5. So usually I can't even be earlier than 5. Right. Because I listen to the Rawha. Yeah, so I think um uh and my degree, the first 2 periods of Sunday is all English language. So I have permission to skip it. It's basic English. The degree, yeah, I'm doing a degree at the university nearby. So the first 2 periods is the English language. So they let me skip because it's just English. So I'm free actually. I'm actually free. I used to not be free because I have classes in the morning. Then now I'm like free because the Zahra also ending. So tomorrow I can't tomorrow because I have the Zahra. Like, but thereafter Sunday morning can. Inshallah, inshallah. Next week, yes. Not tomorrow, but next week. 7:30 in the morning easier lah for me. Easier. Early in the morning, at least you can do 1.5 hours or so. Right. And in fact it's the last chapter. It's the last chapter of the book. And you should be able to finish it inshallah. So in this chapter, so we have finished the types of seven types of istihadha on menses. So we're going to Nifas for this one. I am going to Nifas. Right. So for Nifas, we know that the maximum Nifas is 60 days. Right. So this is in the Shafi'i madhab, not 40, 60, not 40, 60. Right. So many people assume that it's only going to be 40 days of Nifas. Right. No, you're not, it's not, there's nowhere in the Shafi'i madhab that says 40 days of Nifas. 40 days is a norm. Right? A lot of women experience 40 days. And the Hanafi madhab says 40 is a maximum. Right? Hanafi seems to have everything less. Like 10 days menses, 40 days nifas. Right? Shafi'i is like to the maximum 15 days menses, 60 days nifas. Right? So mashallah. And we went through the laws of nifas earlier on, right, to determine what is nifas. And that if the blood of nifas extends beyond 60 days, then this woman is considered to be a woman on istihadhah, whereby her nifas is mixed with the blood of istihadhah. So she needs to figure out where, again, the same rulings as in menses, you must figure out when the istihadhah began. Right, so it's not necessarily at the point of 6 days, right? Then istihadhah began. No, it could have begun within the nifas days, right? So same situation. Right? So it's exactly the same 7 istihadhah stories that we went through for Haid. The same 7 appears for nifas. The exact same 7 appears for nifas, and we'll go into that situation. And so the ruling on her is the same ruling as a woman on menses whose bleeding extends beyond 15 days. On day 15, she realizes she's on istihadhah. She must bathe no matter what. Right? Then it is on her to figure out when the istihadhah began. Right? And then to qada those days whereby the istihadhah began. Right? And then this is her new norm. Her new norm is that she is mustahadhah. Right, she is, and so her next menses, she will act as if she's going to istihadhah again, and she can begin to pray on that particular day whereby she has ruled that her istihadhah began. Same thing for nifas. Right, same thing for nifas. So if a woman had an istihadhah nifas, right, so you went past 60 days, right? So for the particular nifas, she will give the ruling for herself, and we'll go through the 7 different types of nifas. Right, then for subsequent nifases, right, she can act on the previous nifas that I don't expect this to be istihadhah. Because her previous nifas was an istihadhah. So her next nifas she can assume to be istihadhah. And she can pray. So you have to keep doing qada every single time. Like for hate it's a bit more difficult because hate every single month. So you don't want to do like qada every single month. You have to have like 10 days of qada, 5 days of qada. It's very heavy on a woman. But nifas, I mean, you get pregnant maybe once a year. Right. I mean, someone gets pregnant very often now. I mean, once a year get pregnant, right? So maybe, if you do a qada, so not that bad, Allahu alam. Right? So it's a once a year issue, right? So in this situation, so hence we will refer to the 7 types of istihadhah as previously mentioned, right, in the slides. Right, first let's redefine the term fast. So we will redefine all of these terms. So the first term is mubtada'ah. Right, so all of these terms we introduced them during the istihadhah in menses. right? Istihadhah in menses. So the first one is mubtada'ah, right? A first timer, right? So someone who just had their first nifas, meaning first birth, right? This is a very big woman comes to me and I know she has children, right? So I would say, what was the youngest child? What was his nifas? So if she forgot, she's a mutahayyara again, right? The confused woman lah. There's a confused woman like, and you're like, forgot how long was his nifas. But I hope you all remember, if you have children, how long is your nifas? Right? Uh, Alhamdulillah. So at least the last guy, the last child, you must remember the nifas of that child. Right. So like my sister, Alhamdulillah, she didn't go through any nifas with any istihada with Ibrahim. But if she had gone to Istihadhah of Ibrahim, she must recall Khalil's nifas. Right, 10 years ago. Okay, 10 years ago, she gave birth to Khalil. Right, what was Khalil's nifas? If there was Istihadhah for Ibrahim. But Ibrahim had no Istihadhah, Alhamdulillah. So they had to think of what was Khalil's nifas. So I told her, you better record, unless you remember what was Khalil's nifas. Right? Because in case going to Istihadhah, you need to refer to Khalil's nifas. Because that is her mu'tada, even though it's years ago, right? But it's your last birth. It was the very last birth. So you must go and refer to Khalil, nifas. So every child you should know lah, right? Roughly how long did each child have their nifas? I mean, for each child, what was your nifas for each child? Right? For both cases, she could be one of the following cases, as we mentioned. The same thing with menses, mumayyiza, the one whose blood can be differentiated, right? And the ghayr mumayyiza, right? The one with blood that cannot be differentiated. So there is another special case that is called a mutahayyara, like confused woman, and he will speak about this woman later on. And of course, the confused woman, all of them is people who have had previous births, right? But really, he's very confused about their previous births, right? Or forgot everything about previous births, right? So same thing, like mutahayyara, same story, right? All same story, okay? Right, so this is to go through the terminology for us to be very clear. So the mubtada'ah al-mumayyiza, first timer birth, right? Differentiable blood. مبتدأ غير مميزة, right? First timer birth, non-differentiable blood. معتادة مميزة. So all these all revision from the height, right? Experience, that means have had previous births with differentiable blood, right? Then you have معتادة غير مميزة, experience, had previous births with non-differentiable blood. متحيرة مطلقة, completely confused in what's going on with Nifas. I don't know anything, right? متحيرة, she remembered when was the usual dates for her Nifas, but forgot how many days usually. And mutahayyir, who remembers how many days but forgot when nifas usually comes. I don't know if there are specific cases for this, because some women, they don't have nifas immediately after they give birth. Nice. Interesting. Some women, the nifas doesn't come out. Then maybe like a few days after that, then it comes. Right. So interesting, like how the bodies of people work. Like, but I know some of my friends, when they say they go through cesarean, yeah, cesarean, then the nifas don't flow, right? Because the body does not detect that it has given birth. So the body still is holding on to the blood. Then the body detects that it has given birth, right? Then the body begins to let go of the blood. Now, okay, so the first situation, the mubtada'ah, that means had never had nifas before, it's the first time, her first birth. Mumayyaza, she sees strong blood and then weak blood, so able to differentiate. So all the rulings and the conditions of mumayyaza all fall in. The ruling, the strong blood is nifas, and the weak blood that drags on is istihadhah. Okay, Bismillah. I'm going back to the. Do you all remember the conditions of Mumayyazah? We go back to the slide, okay? Just a recap, okay? Just a recap. Conditions of Mumayyazah. Yes, the conditions of Mumayyazah. Okay, so um, okay, conditions of Tamyiz. Sorry, this one is okay. Okay, so the conditions of Tamis will appear. The conditions of Tamis, I remember the four conditions of Tamis. First thing is that strong blood cannot be less than minimum menses. In this case, for Nifas, minimum Nifas. Okay, the strong blood, which is Mustahil because Nifas minimum is a moment. Right. So menses minimum at least 24 hours. Nifas minimum is a moment. Right. So it cannot be less than minimum nifas, which is a moment. The strong blood cannot drag beyond maximum nifas. Let me just make the entire thing nifas lah. Okay, I'm gonna take this slide. I'm gonna put it down to the nifas. Mm, the nifas one. Okay, I'm gonna put it here. So for us to refer, then I go to the scenarios. Okay, so here. Okay, so strong blood can be less than minimum nifas. Okay, which is a moment, right? That is minimum nifas, a moment. Right? If it's lesser, then she's not umayyazah, which is not possible because the moment you see blood, halas is nifas, right? So it doesn't have to think so much. Okay, strong one cannot beyond maximum nifas, right? Which is 15 times 60. Sorry, 60 hours, 60 times 24 hours. Okay, 60 days. Okay, the strong blood cannot drag beyond maximum nifas. Right, if it's more than that, then she's not mumayyaza. The weak blood is no less than the minimum purity. Right, if it's a continuous situation, right, and if the blood is continuous, if it's not continuous, for example, there's purity after that, then this question is not applicable. Right, so minimum purity is 15 days still. Right, within nifas, outside of nifas, the minimum purity is still 15 days, right? The weak blood is not the minimum purity within the 60 days. Because if it's beyond the 60 days, you don't need this minimum purity anymore. We went to this, we went to Nifas. So Nifas, you don't need a 15 days minimum if it goes beyond 60. Right? So for example, if someone has Nifas all the way until day 55, right? And then 5 days no blood, then on day 62, right, blood came. So there's 7 days of breathing, right? Then blood came back, the one dispenses. So there's no condition of 15 days. But if she stops the blood at day 40, then if the blood came back at day 56, you say yes, there is menses, right? Because there was a 15-day gap between where the blood stops on day 40 to day 56. But if the blood came on day 50, we say this is a blood that is nifas connected to the first blood. So there is a condition. I remember we went through it. I'm not sharing, I know. Okay, no, I'm sharing. Okay. Sorry. Okay, can stream. But I don't know if I want to stream. I'm already halfway through. But you can try and stream if you want. Okay. Tamam, right? So basically, the weak blood is no less if there is clean. If someone does not see any clean, right? So the weak blood is no less than the minimum purity, right? Within the 60 days, it's continuous. If it's not continuous, for example, there was purity after that, right? Then this condition is not applicable, right? This is for someone who's continuously bleeding. The weak blood follows up from a strong blood, meaning there is no strong blood between the weak bloods, right? So it follows up. That means we look at the tail end of it. So we're going to see the first scenario here. Okay. So this person giving birth, after giving birth for the first time, she saw 20 days black blood and 50 days red blood. So 20 plus 50, 70. She's istihadhah. Okay. What is her ruling? The istamis. Right. So you saw strong blood first, we saw weak blood. Right. She's mumayyiza in her istihadhah, in her nifas. So nifas is only 20 days, right? And because it was strong blood for 20 days, the remaining 50 days is istihadhah, as it was weaker bload. Right? She should have bathed at the end of day 60 because she said no, it's going to be istihadhah. She has no idea. Right? She's waiting, 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 waiting. Day 60 still bleeding. Right? Bathe. Right? Bathe. Right? And then now look at her track record. She must have this track record. So she checked her track record. You see that, okay, blood for the first 20 days, then it was red all the way. So she now gives herself the ruling that her nifas is first 20 days. She must make up prayers from day 21 to 60. Inshallah, she gets rewarded. She gets rewarded for all of that. But really, nifas can be really it's a heavy thing. But if you've been pregnant for 9 months, you've been praying. I mean, you've been praying, like 9 months praying. And then you do all this qada thereafter. Right? So just very, very vigilant about your nifas and learn methods of making nifas faster. Right. So in the traditional methods, like in Tarim, in other parts of the world, they're very traditional methods to make nifas end faster. Right. And one of the things to eat the foods, and there's specific foods to make the nifas come up, massaging, do proper postnatal massages, right? I think in our culture, I don't know here or not, but they have this bedong. They would tie and they wrap right tightly and everything. So there's a lot of things to do with the womb, the health of the womb. And also something that is lost in our zaman, which is unfortunate, right, which is the entire days of staying at home. So basically the confinement period, right? Women nowadays don't have any respect. Like sometimes I see my own students, they just gave birth, right? And then no class. Why class? Right? It's on Zoom anyway. Go just tune into Zoom. Right? It's not recorded or online. Like stay at home, 40 days. And some women they just gave birth. Give their baby going to the masjid to get the tahaniq mashaykh. Send the husband. Like, you stay at home. You don't go. I don't go anywhere. You stay at home. No, but I see women, they carry the babies around and they want to do tahaniq and everything. I mean, good intentions, alhamdulillah. Don't, this entire, culture, it's not a law. Okay, confinement there's no Islamic law about it. There is no sharia around confinement, right? But it is, okay, right? Allah. Bismillah. I'm not sure the internet today keeps cutting off. Tamam. Okay. Mm. Mm. No, the black is Nifas. The red is if you have because red is weaker than black. Black is strong. Green and black. So strong blood, it will be the Nifas, and weak blood is the Istihadhah. If yeah, Okay, I'm not so sure why the internet is acting up today so much. Okay, Alhamdulillah. Huh? The kahraman, Alhamdulillah. I say, Alhamdulillah, but the internet is going in and out, and I'm not so sure why. Right, tamam, so understand that. So basically, for those who are pregnant, right, read up on how to make nifas faster. Right, get it out. Right, and don't skip your massages, the postnatal massages, and all of these things, they shape the womb back, right, and it's for the health of the womb. So a lot of women, they're not so particular about these things. Then in their older age, their womb comes out. The womb actually comes out, and there are many women who actually experience it. The womb comes out of to their privates, and it's very painful. It's really uncomfortable. It's painful. It's always because of negligence with regards to confinement period, right, and negligence with regards to massaging, right, after giving birth, right. So it's all and taking the proper foods. Mm. Mm. Yeah. Yeah, so and basically when like the culture especially in Tarim, when they give birth, the woman who just gave birth does not move from her bed. She sits there, and they will pile her with blankets to keep her hot. Like, I mean, she'll be sweating under all those blankets, right? But they will pile her in Tarim, they'll pile her with blankets, and she's not allowed to go anywhere, and the entire family is involved. But of course, in a society whereby there is no family support, and a lot of us in the West, unfortunately, in Singapore, so you might not have any family support. No one's helping you, right, to do anything. Right? But here in Tarim, there's a full support from the family, right? MashaAllah, to help a woman going through her nifas. Right. So okay. Right. So remaining, and also for women going through nifas, that you are also spiritually weak. Right. So women in mass, generally you are spiritually weak. Right. So which is why she should not go out of the house after Maghrib, right? You should, stay away from places whereby the jinn might follow, right? Because you are spiritually, you're not praying, you're not reading Quran, right? You are, so you're weakened spiritually. So a lot of women are not very particular, or not, I don't know whether they don't believe or whatever, right? But if you're on your menses, if you can be home before Maghrib, be home before Maghrib, right? Don't like walk around under trees and go to the seaside, where the jinn lurk, water bodies, right, and mountains, right? The jinn lurk, right, in the water bodies, mountains, and in like trees and vegetation, right? That's where they lurk. I don't go to these places. Uh, yeah, Maghrib. Right. So you must stop early also. So you must stop early for today, and tomorrow next week onwards we'll change it to Sunday morning. Easier. Right. So you don't have to think so much. Sunday morning 70 Tarim will be 12:30 Singapore. Tamam. So remaining 50 days is Istihadhah, is a weaker blood. Right. So she have bathed and make up her prayers. The next example, after giving birth, she saw 2 days of blood. Right. Then she was clean for 17 days. So it's regardless of what color the blood was, because she has clean for 17 days. Right? And then she had 20 days of black blood followed by 2 days of red blood. Oh, this person. So 2 days of blood, 17 days, no blood. It froze. Right, 2 days of blood, 17 days of no blood. Right, and then let me just describe it. Allah. So, right, so 2 days of blood, right? So which means that 70 days of no of clean. That means the next blood that comes to her, right, will be haid. Right? It will not be nifas. Right? The first 2 days was a nifas. So nifas only 2 days because of 17 days of gap, like in between. Sorry, not connecting. Yes, correct. Right. So thereafter, and if let's say she's having this kind of like really haywire bleeding, right, then she has to go to her again the laws of istihadhah in menses. She must go and see if she mumayyiza, then must she go back to her ada in her menses, her norm in her menses, and so on. Right, that is will be the the screen. Tamam. And if it's 2 days, she's experiencing istihada in her, but she is not mumayyiza, right? Because she has 20 days black blood. So her haid, the black blood is haid, but not mumayyiza, 20 days black blood all the way through. If she's an experienced woman, she must go back to her norm and check what is her norm and give the number of days of her norm as haid and number of days as tuhur. But if she's a first timer in haid, and so is it possible for a woman to give birth and not have had haid before? Possible. It could be. Like say Fatimah Zahra never had haid. And she never had nifas also anyway. She didn't have haid, no nifas. But she karama, miracle. But it's possible that a woman never have haid. Then maybe the very month that she is ovulating, that very month she intercourse. For example, possible. And then she became pregnant without ever experiencing haid in her life. Possible. It's possible that happens to a woman. So she's the first time in haid. And so now she's given the minimum haid. 24 hours is haid and 29 days of tuhur. Right? And she will go in that way. So basically she must bathe after completing 59 days or 15 days of 15 days of black blood, then look to see how many days she has to qada her prayers. If she is mu'tad, that has had haid before. So for example, her norm is 10 days haid, 20 days pure. So she sees 20 days of black blood, that means only 10 was haid. Then from there, 20 days, which means 10 of black and 10 of red. Right? Is her pure? She goes back into haid during the red days because it's 3 days of red. 3 days of red, right? So she goes back into haid, 10 days again of haid. So that will be finished 20 days of red. So she has 40 more days of, she has 30 more days of, so that means the next 20 days of red blood is tuhur. Then the last 10 is haid. You get it? Okay. So if you want to put it out clearly, right? So 20 days black blood. Okay. So here is the nifas is 2 days. That is done. Okay. 20 days black blood. All right. So which means of these 20 days, 10 was haid, 10 went into tuhur. Okay. Of these 50 days, the first 10 was tuhur because her ada is 20 days tuhur. Okay. Left with 40 more days. Okay. So for the 40 days, the 10 means from day 11 of the red blood to day 20 of the red blood is haid again. Then day 21 of the red blood to day 40 of the red blood, because 20 days, right, is tuhur. Then day 41 of the red blood to day 50 is second time haid. Second time haid, that means second cycle of haid. Okay, so she will go according to her norm for haid, because now the red is all haid. Right, is all the red is not all haid, the red is all outside of nifas problems. Now it's haid problems again. Okay, so now she's going into her haid problems because the 17 days broke her free of nifas. She's no longer under nifas laws. Now she goes as if she's having black and red all the time. So a normal woman who's not giving birth and whatsoever. So you get, okay? So she must go back to the ada. Yes, she must go back to the ada if you don't have tamyiz. If there is no differentiable blood. So we say she's not differentiable. Why? Because 20 days here is actually haid, right? So it's beyond 15, not differentiable, right? But if let's say the clean days was less than 15, then you will connect the 20 days to the first 2 days, because not enough tuhur between the two bloods. So it's the 20 days to be counted as nifas for this individual. So if let's say you change this question, okay? So you say she was clean for 10 days, for example. Change the question. 10 days clean. Then 20 days blood, 50 days red. 20 days black, 50 days red. So now I count 2 days blood, okay, maybe it's brown. Brown, then 10 days, 12 days. 12 days. 12 plus 20, 42. Okay, 42. Okay, I know the red will go beyond CC already. Halas. So by the end of the black blood, that is nifas. Because the black is connected to the red at the beginning, even because the clean days were not enough to separate them. Okay, so that means the black is all nifas. And then the red will be istihadhah. Istihadhah, so on day what? So 10 plus 2 is 12, 12 plus 20 is 42, right? 42. So she, from day 43 to day 60, how many days is that? 17 days. Okay, 17 days you have. So now she's going to come out of it. 17 days. She has how many more days of red? She has like what, 33 more days, right? Of red. Maths. You need a chart and draw it out. Right, 33 more days of bleeding. Okay, this 33 more days of bleeding. Now she has to implement more haid. She needs to implement her norm. Right, so now she her norm is 20 days. 20 days of from the end of the black. So on day 42, the black ends. So now she needs to draw everything out. She needs to already be good at this. I always call it Ustazah, can you handle this for me? And tell me where is my Nifas and where is my menses. So day 43 plus 20 today, 63. Right? Okay, on day 64, she bathes. Okay. No. This is before she goes back into Haid, Afwan. Because her tuhur norm has ended, 20 days of tuhur. Right? So now she goes back to Haid and she goes on with her norm with regards to Haid for the red days. Okay, she goes back to her norm. Right? This is the story of this person. Now, because it's 3 days of red. Why is there 3 days of red? Where is it coming from? Mashallah. So I hope that is clear, right? You have to figure this out, eh? Okay, the next scenario, after giving birth, she saw 20 days of brown blood, 40 days red blood, 20 days red. Very simple, eh? Right? 20 plus 40, 60. So just nice. Okay, so the brown and the black, all 60. Nifas, the whole thing Nifas. The last 20 is Istihadhah. Okay, why does it keep freezing the way? Like the last Istihadhah. I don't know why this one keeps freezing. My projector. Okay, I'll try one last time, and then if it keeps freezing, then halas. Okay. Tamam. So the next situation, right? The next case. So a person gives birth 15 days of red blood. So remember, 15 days red blood. 3 days black blood. Just now case. This one. This is 3 days of brown, 40 days black, 3 days red. 20 plus 40, 60. Safe. Nifas safe 3 days. The last rate is Istihadhah. Okay, safe, eh? Right, when it comes to that menses and Nifas, if you understand the principles, you get it. You can go with that. Okay, so after giving birth, she saw 3 days of red blood, 40 days black blood, and then brown continuously, and went past day 60. Okay, so 15 days red, 40 days black. That is equals to 55. Holding Nifas. Okay, holding Nifas, brown is Istihadhah. Okay, she must bathe on day 60, and then qada prayers from 56 to 60, not so bad. 4 days. 4 days of qada, not so bad. Okay, so the next scenario, right? She saw 5 days black, 5 days red, then yellow blood, all the way past 60. So 5 black, 5 red, then yellow all the way. Right? So of course the nifas becomes just the black and the red. Right? Black and the red is within the 60 days situation. So nifas is only 10 days. Just qada everything. Yeah, qada 50 days of qada. Subhanallah. Right? Nifas is only 10 days for this person. The strong and the less strong only are the nifas, right? All the yellow is istihadhah. Rules of time are applied. Just do not pray. So if she didn't pray in the days of yellow blood, she must qada all those prayers. And of course, she wouldn't have prayed because she would have figured that it was nifas. Because it was yellow blood, yellow blood, yellow blood. So she thinks it's all nifas. She didn't pray. Right. Then at the end of, because this one is a first timer, not differentiable. So maybe the last color has its color. Yes, the weakest. No. The weakest. So basically, when it comes to istihadhah, right, you take all the colors to the max. You max it out. You max it out to as much as you can do. Can keep within 60 days. Then the tail end, that will be the istihadhah. That will be the istihadhah. But it is on condition that you don't have that the weak blood did not come and then there was strong blood after that. Yes. So if weak blood came between strong bloods, the weak blood is part of the counting, right? Of nifas. And all of these things all got hilaf. All of it got hilaf. There's a lot of hilaf in a lot of things. I was reading up on this lah. So mashallah, if it comes to it, I'll give people the hilaf to stop them from having to qada how many days of prayer. Right? So usually hilaf is there's mercy hilaf to save in a sense to help people if they really cannot do all the qada. Right? Okay, there's a hilaf. Come, I give you hilaf. Right? And then you can act on the hilaf. Okay, so but for now, as in teaching, I don't mention hilaf. Okay, only in special cases I will mention the hilaf for them to go on. Okay, no, I'm not gonna mention the hilaf now. There is a khilaf in the whole thing got khilaf, everyone got khilaf. Alhamdulillah, different madhabs, all have different issues. And even with the Hanafi madhab, 40 days. So if really you want to go Hanafi, you can go Hanafi if you want. I mean, you can learn Hanafi madhab and go in like 40 days nifas, alhamdulillah. I want to go 40, mashallah. Right. So but of course you learn in the madhab, like learn the madhab. Okay. So this is the second scenario. I think next week I'll go through this because already 5:45. So inshallah you can get home before Maghrib. So inshallah today short class, but inshallah just opening up the chapter. So we have six more cases to go, right? And then we khatam the book. Right? The book ends there. Alhamdulillah. I need to finish up the classes because now I'm having my degree and my diploma at the same time. I need to lighten my load. So I need to finish up classes. Okay. Yes, the Nuta class, inshallah, I'm gonna shift it around. Right. So I'm gonna see where things are gonna be right now with my schedule. Right. But for now this semester I have English language for my university. So I have a bit of more time because only for the first semester is English language. I had no more English language. So I'm gonna shift. So just announce again. This class will go back to Sunday, 7:30 a.m. Tarim time. Singapore time will be what? 12:30 a.m. 7:30. Yes, 7:30 a.m. You got 7. 7:30 a.m. Inshallah next Sunday onwards because I can skip my English language. Alhamdulillah. Okay. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. الحمد لله العالمين. الفاتحة. أن الله يرزقنا منافعا ولا عمل خالصا مستعين من الهدى ويسر بك بالنبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وإلى أرواح معلمين مشايخنا وذوي علينا وإلى حضرة النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. الفاتحة. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. صلى الله عليه وسلم محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.